have started recording. I have started streaming.
I can't hear anything in my headphones.
Let's see if you're plugged in.
I'm number 3.
Can you hear this?
Yeah, I can hear that.
We may have had, but I think ours might be switched. Hold on, I'm gonna tap it.
Yeah.
Tap yours. I can hear both. We'll try switching anyway.
Okay.
What is it?
I think we generally kind of hear everybody anyway, so.
Double checking to make sure
yeah.
my stuff is done. Yay, we're live.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh yeah, I think this is me.
Yeah, now I can hear.
Oh,
right.
it shows the thing.
This thing is still not charged enough.
We've got
I promise you, I took it out to charge last night.
As long as you're fine plugged in over here.
No, it is. It just
Okay.
I can't even turn it on yet. So
Oh.
Moth doesn't even exist yet.
No. Oh no.
I forgot about our shadow paddle.
The shadow paddle.
Shadow players pledge paddle
Gonna do, what am I looking for?
of permanent possibilities.
The shadow paddle of permanent possibilities.
Channel.
Let's do this.
Whatever. After this.
There we go.
Received a text message from someone.
It was me. It wasn't me.
It's not. Okay. Let's see. Alex, could you scooch to this way just a hair? That works.
Nope. So I figured I'd just be off camera, probably.
You're
this
just
place
half
needs a
on,
fan.
half off.
Okay.
The new mysterious moth.
All right, people of the internet. Hi. I'm tired. I woke up at like 4:30 and I'm running off of not enough sleep, but I'm gonna do my best
Got
to power through. I'm gonna hopefully whenever we do the final one, I'll be fully rested because that's gonna be buck wild. Anyway, hey, welcome to Stages and Satyrs Part 5. This is our penultimate episode before our final thing that happens. I am joined today by
David Sanders.
and
Becky McDonald.
Alex, also known as the Bear Bard.
hey, what's up? Last we left our group, we had decided that we were going to try and sneak in by some sort of means into the castle, the manor of Malvolio. The process for which a plan is going to be decided now. We have returned from the Feywilds using remove curse after figuring out the sort of the situation that went on with Yorick. We were able to find out some things about Yorick's past. And in doing so, that has informed sort of the present, as it were, along with the current state of Illyria. We have sort of realized that, yeah, Malvolio's probably got his hands on a folio of some kind. And now it's a heist, baby! So...
How very Ocean's 11 of us.
Yes.
We're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Our three adventurers are in a ramshackle hut in a corner of Illyria's poorest quarter. There, without the watchful eye of the guards along the wall, a resistance of shadow players has essentially remained sequestered here, unsure what to do as all forms of sabotage and subterfuge in order to disrupt Malvolio's plans have been met with tragedy, accident, happenstance, and pure tomfoolery, maybe even some buggery that has prevented their any and all plans from coming to fruition, along with no messages have gotten out, and the sort of iron-like grip that Malvolio's had over the city, where he's enforced these puritanical concepts. There's a lack of art, a lack of the joie de vivre that Illyria had before. The town has turned into a sort of a ashen gray, with the exception of his guards wearing these bright, splashy magenta-ish outfits,
Awful.
while
Garish.
they continue to patrol rather miserably. None of them are happy about it. And so now our three heroes sit at a table amongst a few shadow players, and the question has been asked, if we're going to take this folio, what's the plan?
I have one goal and one goal only initially. I'm not going to stand to look at horrible fashion like that anymore. I mean, yes, we can get the folio too, but also any man who puts another man in that outfit, evil, and unreasonable, and illogical.
York's been pretty quiet, just kind of over the last, sitting. I guess we're still in the shadow players safe house, and from what I gather, the shadow players here on site sound like they're not the top of the league. These kind of like the minor leaguers here. They don't have a whole lot of info on what's going on.
Before Malvolio's rise to power, Illyria was considered a safe and stable city-state. The ruling class cared more for throwing fancy parties and leaning onto fainting couches and that kind of thing, and not really were anything for political intrigue. As such, the shadow players here were more focused on being sort of a way station for other members to come in and out of the city although Illyria has a lot of money flowing into it as essentially a major port. There just wasn't a need to send their best and brightest here. It was a lot of older individuals that are essentially in semi-retirement, or a lot of younger individuals that are here to train before they can be sent out to more interesting and more dynamic stations.
So pretty much, it was a chill place until Dictator Malvolio jumped in. Great.
Yeah, York is like anyone who takes the writing of the script into their own hands has to be stopped at all cost. That level of power should not be placed in. If what we think has happened, we're not just going to waltz in and tell them to stop and have it end. That type of power must be wrenched from the hands of those in control.
Yes, but based on what I'm seeing around with this monstrosity of design, he probably feels like he's amazing. And so he might be open to flattery. And I'm used to dealing with people who need to be flattered. I'm a good decoy.
Well, it's possible it could get us close enough to do what needs to be done, but it won't be enough.
What about I go in under the guise of I am just trying to drum up more business for my design, from my makeup design, my clothing line, right? Like, we go in, and by we, I mean me, go in and at least get the doors open for you guys to pop in.
Yeah, one question with it. If this man is very sad when it comes to happy in color and stuff, do you think he'd be interested in seeing your makeup line?
Maybe not my makeup line, but oh my gosh, I've heard you guys have amazing fabrics here. Maybe we can do a collab. Just saying. Make it seem like it's a sponsorship.
Now, may I ask you proud shadow players here, are there others that you think may be up for resisting a little bit?
Well,
Are there others that would think about joining as you mortals call it, a coup?
well, if the people knew that the Duke was alive and well, if Orsino was still present and alive, and he was able to make a proper declaration, then there may chance be the means to cause rebellion, but we are afraid that anything that loud would force Malvolio's hand into rewriting the script. Although maybe that's a good scenario, because that means that he would have to go to his folio in the first place. It means that wherever he's got it stored or stashed, he'd have to open it. We don't know where it is, so if there were eyes on him while this was occurring, then that's an opportunity.
Interesting.
That leads us to potentially being rewritten. And anything we do.
The entire fabric of reality is at the potential of being rewritten.
Right, but I mean in just an immediate place.
Yes.
Listen, I've already said I'll take one for the team.
So, if we did somehow publicly show the people the Duke, while there were others waiting to see Malvolio's reaction to the Duke, that could lead us to where the folio is.
Aye, and the thing is, we don't necessarily even need to have the real Duke.
No, we don't.
We have people who can pretend to be the Duke.
Hey,
Yes, very possible.
I'm looking at you, Boneface.
And you know who's super stealthy who can watch what he does?
Hopper?
Hoppers.
So, if you felt you could gain audience to be there right before it happened, and you were given enough time to get in as close as possible, and then news of the Duke appearing and giving a speech publicly in the square would travel very quickly.
I mean, I'm just saying it's enough of a distraction for it to happen. Although I am going to need somebody to kind of fix my eyes just for a second. I love him like this, but it might kind of freak him out a little bit.
That's
I can absolutely do that.
Thank you.
I have remove curse.
Can you remove the curse and then later put it back on? It is kind of cool, but I could see if I walked up and somebody saw this.
Could I Fey Fluffy magic that?
I'm going to say yes.
It'll be remove curse with a time limit.
Perfect. Perfect.
I'll say, yeah, you can make it so that way the remove curse is a temporary removal of the curse. I will allow that, yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
We must keep our statement going.
To do that, though, I'll need an Arcana check in order to determine how long the removal will last. And at a certain point, it will come on.
11.
An 11. Okay.
I'm going to have to work quickly. That's okay.
I have a number in my head. From what you can guess, you recognize that if you did this like timed removal of the curse, it would last anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours. Definitely long enough that if she gets in and gets out real quick, she'd be able to gain an audience if she does really well. But that means that if there's if there's a few too many hitch-ups, the curse might reverse back, and she'll have the reptilian eyes again.
So if I have to cast it right before we go in, I'm not
Yep.
going to cast it now.
Perfect. Okay, we can do that. And if it wears off and he still sees my face, then I will spin it into a selling point. It's just better to go in looking more human than not at this moment.
For some reason. Whatever.
I know.
I'll just take my non-human self over here.
Well, Moth, this is a situation where you probably need to wear pants again. I know, but it's a game and we gotta play it.
I know.
Control. How do you take it? I'm sorry.
Yorick is going to
Wrestling, Mark.
Yorick is going to go to Rosalind, just the time to speak, and says, presenting yourself as someone else. It's not the easiest thing in the world, particularly under pressure.
Oh, why would I present myself to be somebody else? I'm me. Hello? Mogul? Trendsetter? I have 55 million followers. I'm good.
Ye old Facebook.
The old book of faces.
He says, no, I get that. I get that. I've just been watching you as we've traveled. And I've come to realize from someone that lives their entire life behind mask that the me that you claim to be is more than likely your mask.
Listen, everybody's going to be a little bit more different when the further they get away from home.
That's true.
And it's a matter of adjusting to your environment. So I'm adapting and adjusting. Think of it as like a new shade of lipstick.
I have no doubt that you have the ability to be who you need to be when you need to be them.
Yes.
And I don't mean to intrude. I don't mean to overstep my bounds, but we have a very important task set before us that could, as you stated, involve the rewriting of who we are. But if we don't know, and I don't think that Moth has this issue at all, but if we don't know who we are, it's hard to know who we should pretend to be. And he's going to reach out, and I'm going to brush your hair behind your ear.
Immediately touch the top of my ears and like fix my hair around them a little bit. I know exactly who I am. I am Rosalind Capulet. I am Tybalt's sister. I'm Juliet's cousin. I am the kid who gets Rosalind be nicer, Rosalind be better, Rosalind. And everybody else gets to do and say and live however they want. But I am the standard. I am the bearer of all things that have to be good and right. And there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes for Rosalind. This is who I am. And I can create whatever self I need to create at any point. And that is exactly what I'm going to do right now.
That's spoken like a shadow player.
Ugh. Not even.
Very well. Rosalind, just don't get lost in the mask.
Never. Never. See, look at it. Now you've messed up my eyeliner.
I apologize. Moth, are you going in with Rosalind? Is that the plan?
I was thinking about that because I need to be able to adjust mask eyes beforehand, and I feel like assistant makes sense for fashion icon.
Yes.
But I want to make sure you're okay because you're going to have very limited time before you present yourself as the Duke, and guys come and try to kill said Duke. So as long as you are okay, And you know, I make sure that Hoppers is there, and sometimes he needs to be remotivated. He is very he goes after shiny things, so I'll make sure that he is after the right thing.
I feel comfortable in my ability to disappear and even join you if need be. These other members of the Shadow Players would be present to help me with that escape. We know how to make a distraction. We have plays we can call. I think we can handle it on that end. We'll make the distraction. How long should we give you before we make our reveal?
I need 45 minutes. Tops.
I feel like she makes a quick impression, so I don't think we need much time.
If at the end of 45 minutes I do not have Malvolio's attention away from what you all are doing,
Well,
run.
yes. Well, we
Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. So we want to scare him into revealing the location of the folio.
Can we go about it from two ends? Can we scare him about the location of the location of the folio? But maybe I can do some investigating around as well.
Yes, yes. We need the information. What could go wrong?
You do not say these things out loud.
Nothing and everything
Especially
can go
right
wrong.
after literally splitting the party. So, you know, there's that too.
This is for those of you that at home that have been looking at my face.
Everything's gonna go wrong.
No, this is one of those great conversations you're hearing your players make whenever they're coming up with a plan, where your own wheels as a GM start turning, and you're like, okay, so this is a plan. I had an idea that this would be the plan that they would take. What can we do to make this interesting? Okay, we've got some ideas, and so the story juice is flowing. It's fun.
So,
TBK.
the story of the Duke. I'm assuming that we got some pictures we're studying, right? We're doing this.
Yes.
Okay, focusing on the disguised self that I could put on, and the performance that I can give. Right up Yorick's alley. Got it. We want to announce what would be the biggest announcement that would make him jump to it. I got to rewrite this now.
What if you just called to action?
Yeah, just call the people. Call the people. Let's get chaos in the street. No more. Overthrow.
Oh yes. Can you start the overthrow while I'm there with Malvolio?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How long do you need, and then I'll start it.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes. Take a second. Take the hair back. Point to my ears again. I'll let some of this half-fae blood in me kick in. That's where my fashion sense comes from, Moth.
I always knew I liked you.
All right, so I start adjusting. All right. Are we ready?
I believe so. What else do we need to do to prepare? Let's do it.
Let's go.
So, before I would let the Shadow Players, the locals, kind of point out what would be the best place to really get the most attention. You know, the market center, town square, where so that we can kind of position that. But at the same time, I would want to know that once everything gets up and popping, where could I run and maybe make an entrance into Malvolio's?
It's almost like we should take a day to like
Yeah.
scout.
Yeah,
Yes.
we got. You said we have 2 days till the
Yes.
because we have the party also. Do we want to coincide with the party?
You know, it's sometimes easier for me to lay the groundwork in with attending a very good party. I do parties very well.
I mean, your last one ended up in a fire with dead people, but you know.
Okay, but my ones before that were outstanding. And it wouldn't have ended bad if those creeps hadn't come into the party in the first place.
Would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for meddling kids.
So that you could make your way into the party, have 45 minutes to make your way to his area, maybe strike up conversation, at least be within eye shot for when everything gets up and popping, and then if he makes a run, y'all can follow.
Absolutely. maybe in the midst of the party, I might be able to wind around and. Oh, I needed to check for the restroom. Oh, is this door open? Little sneaky peek going on.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
The other thing we could do too is, while we take this day to look around, we could spread rumors that there is a duke coming back.
Ooh, Moth, I love the way you think.
We could, you two are chateau players, yes? The word could get around to, taverns and bakers, and we could spread that maybe there is something happening in a single location tomorrow.
Yes. But we have to be very careful about this because if it makes its way back to Malvolio, he'll rewrite anything before we can get started.
So he said very quiet.
That is true. That is true. I would hate for that to get back to him before the reveal.
Well,
Good idea, bad idea? What do you think?
Well,
It's definitely a shadow player move. York would be down for it, but
since all my ideas are good ideas, it's obviously a good idea.
yeah, sowing misinformation. Yeah, subtle.
We don't even have to say it's the Duke. We could say that someone will be there.
Appearing at the place we choose.
Exactly.
Yes. Now that would be worth spreading.
So we have 3 things
Okay.
that we want to do before the start of the party. We, one, want to prepare for the party, get a lay of the land, guest list, stuff like that, I'm assuming. We want to investigate the areas that would both, one, be within dashing distance to the manor, so that way, if need be, someone could get there really, really fast. And also so that way Malvolio can see whatever proclamation our fake Orsenio is going to have. And then we wish to sow rumors of a special appearance by some well-to-do celebrity, essentially, that a special celebrity guest appearance will be appearing. Yes?
yes.
The old
Okay.
Justin Timberlake.
So that is 3 things, and we've got 3 players. So, how do we want to split those up? Who wants to do what? And we'll do some rolls on those to see how well and how effective they are.
Leave me to finding out information about the party, the guest list, and everything of that sort.
And each one of you in these tasks will have essentially a retinue of shadow players that will be aiding you in this. So that way you will not.
I was going to say, I was going to send
you
all the
won't just
shadow
be on
players.
The seat of your pants. The seat of your
I
pants.
think that Yorick, being that he's going to want to give the speech, make the reveal, incite the riot, and then slip in, he would kind of want to do the scope and maybe the lay of the land. And you said that before. I was going to send the shadow players with Moth. Say, trust this one. He knows how to do. He knows what he's doing.
Moth is
to go
very
and help.
stealthy.
Yeah. Go sow those rumors.
Okay. So, we'll go in this order. Moth, to sow those rumors, we're going to need persuasion in order to persuade people that what you're saying is true. And we'll also need stealth, because you don't want this coming back to you.
I'm okay with that. That's my +7 and +3. So
There you go.
okay, persuasion
Yeah.
21.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
People
okay.
definitely believe
All
that
right.
something's going down. Rumors start flying that maybe it's the Queen from London. That would be a big deal. Others are saying that there's rumors of there are some rumors that maybe someone from a warrior from out in the wilds might show up, things like that. Others are saying that it could be the new Caesar. He could be the one that's showing up. There's a lot of rumors.
I love that a lot of people are actually going to be disappointed when it's the Duke because it wasn't like
It's not the queen.
it's like they're thinking it's going to be like Shakespearean Beyonce and it's the Duke.
It's a dude.
All right. I like to say he just sets up with the two shadow players every location. He's just like, oh my god, did you hear about the new people coming by? It's gonna be so exciting. They're gonna show up.
And they're like translating your weird fairy logic way of speaking into like an actual credible rumor.
13 was the stealth.
13 on the stealth. With a 13 on that,
I feel like I should have got like one higher.
with a 13 on the stealth, we'll see how that plays out. On that one, I'm gonna hold back on it if that was
Okay.
successful or bad. Until,
Pretty good. It's pretty good for Moth.
until it comes up. Okay, so next we're scouting for an area. So for that's obviously going to require stealth because you don't want people to know that you're looking around. But that's also going to be your choice of either athletics or acrobatics, as you're going to essentially be dodging around and looking. And in addition to trying to not be caught via stealth, you're going from like rooftops to rooftops. You're parkouring your way around the town and everything.
All right.
Trips over his own feet when he lands.
All right. We'll do stealth first.
That one.
That is a 16 for stealth.
16 for stealth. Okay. On that 16 for stealth, there's maybe 1 point where you're in your disguised self and you're at like a food market stall, and while you're walking, you accidentally knock over some fruit at one of the vendors, and they start getting a little uppity at you because they're upset, and you're trying to pull it down, and a guard comes over and is sort of doing that, what's all this then, and doing everything else. You can tell they're bored, and literally this is just something to do. And for a brief few minutes, you're genuinely worried, like, is something going to slip? But eventually, you're able to placate the other guy. One of the other shadow players comes in and basically runs another distraction, so that way the guard moves in a different direction, and you're able to get off without really having to worry about anything.
I love that Moth was only a little less stealthy than a trained shadow player.
Yeah, and I guess I'm going to go acrobatics on this. All right, here we go. That's an 8.
On an 8,
It's really D20. It's the smallest D20 I've ever seen.
This one here?
yeah.
What is that? That's like a baby.
The little guy?
I thought it was a D10 for a second. It's tiny.
That's so small. Oh my
That's a
goodness.
snack.
I would say
This is a snack.
Just for comparison.
Like,
Okay. On that 8. On the 8,
What if he lies about his role?
what that basically means is that there are some parts near where essentially when you guys go to them, you realize that yes, they are physically closer to the manor, but the route of escape and egress in order to get from there to the manor is too perilous. You basically start doing some dry runs, and you realize that they're cutting it too close, and it knocks some potential avenues off of the map as potential places, because you realize that in order to get to Rosalind, if something bad happens, it's too dangerous, too risky. You could trip, you could fall, you could break your neck. You could get noticed, that kind of thing, and you realize that your best way, unfortunately, might actually have to just be a straight path, which means that if something bad does happen, you're going to be more likely to be found out in your means of getting back to the manor. But it means that if that goes well, it will be you'll still shave off like minutes off by doing it. It just means that the place where you're going to have to do it is not going to be like a courtyard in the middle of a residential district. It's going to have to be something a little bit more public.
Yeah, no perfect way to get in.
Yeah.
It's like when it's time to go in.
Yeah, it means that if you're
Front
going in,
door.
you're going to have
Yeah.
to be going fast and loud to the front
Okay.
door.
All right.
And finally, we are getting
invisible.
ready for a party. So in this case, I want you to choose between two rolls on this. What's Rosalind's look? Are you going for something sort of vivacious and appealing, or are you going for something a little cutthroat and intimidating in your outfit?
A slight mix of both. If
If you had to pick one or the other.
corporate fancy,
Okay. So a little bit more stern.
a little bit more stern with flecks of style to it.
Gotcha. Okay. So that means one of those roles will be intimidate.
Okay.
Because you are wanting to, when you're planning this outfit, you're wanting something that gives off power and rigidness that shows that you are not messing around.
Like it'd be
It's not
like
necess-
80s power suit.
Yes, it's not necessarily scary, but it's something that if someone saw you walking in, it'd be like, oh, that
She's
woman-
important.
That woman means business, and she's important, and I should hold my tongue when she's speaking.
You still have bardic
So we'll do
inspiration.
intimidation for that.
I do think I still have bardic inspiration. No, I don't.
No,
I don't.
I could
anymore.
have done that.
Actually, I think you have some. I think you cast it on yourself the last time. You may have actually had
That's
one.
possible.
Because I feel like you cast it on yourself and then did something, but you rolled really well, so you didn't use it.
That's how long does it? How long?
too late now.
Bardic inspiration even like stick around?
I think I think it just sticks around. I mean,
Just till you
I've heard
use
some
it.
people say an hour, other people just like leave it. So I don't.
I think it's
It's
that-
10 minutes.
it's 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, dang.
Okay.
Kinda makes more sense.
So
Yeah.
we get intimidation from that.
Okay.
And then, in addition, you're looking over this guest list, and I'm going to want you to roll investigation in
Okay.
order to see what important peoples are rumored to be showing up here that you might be able to either get favors out of, or, you know, if something wrong happens, you're like, okay, I can do this, or people that you're like, I need to avoid them because they're going to cause problems.
Okay. Intimidation.
Is it Beyonce?
Let it be Beyonce. It's a 12.
An intimidation on a 12. You put the piece together and you go for it, and at the end of it, you're looking at it and you realize you may have gone a bit too hard on the stern side and not enough on the sensual. So that means that when you're going in on this, it's going to be harder for you to flirt your way out.
Got it.
But it means that you're not necessarily, but that doesn't close off all avenues. It means that you have option. You still have other means. It just means that in this particular way, it's not as flattering on you as you would have approved in that way. It still makes you look good, but it's going to be one of those things where it's like, try flirting with someone while you're wearing a Minions costume. It's hard.
It's
It's the right tool for the right job.
It's a Dallas 10, but a New York 7.
There you go. Yeah.
Damn.
Actually, let me rephrase that. It's a Dallas 10, but a California 7 and a New York 5. There we go. All right. Investigation. That's a 10.
Okay.
Dang.
We are not doing well with this
Please
prep,
no.
are we?
Get them out now.
Get them out now.
Get 'em out now.
Okay. On that investigation of 10, you're going through the guest list and that the shadow players are basically picking, like, okay, so based off of some rumors, we know these people are coming. We know these people are coming. Blah 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 blah. You know that you've got a lot of aristocracy from the Illyria itself. Of course, they're all going to be there. Foreign acquaintances, there's rumors of a major individual coming, but you're now worried that you are conflating the rumor that he has started with the actual rumors of a real individual coming to this party.
I was
And the
very
shadow
good at my
players
rumors.
basically look at you and go, we may have shot ourselves in the foot on that one. If we should have done this part first, and then sowed the rumors, doing them simultaneously has muddied the waters. So you're not quite sure
Who's what? Okay.
Is that Beyonce on the guest list?
And,
Or it says Rihanna. I'm not sure.
is that Lizzo?
Oh, they're all three good. Okay. I'm just gonna have to play it. Just. Okay.
It's just Axl Rose.
Oh God. Wait, Axl Rose now or like 1987 Axl Rose?
I'm gonna say now just to make it that much more disappointing.
Jesus.
You standing on top of a balcony. It's Axl Rose! It's Axl Rose! Trying to cut it all off from everyone else, telling them not to go through with the plans.
No!
Don't do it!
Oh,
It's like 2001 VH1 in here.
it's awful. He's trying to sing November Rain. It's done. Cut it off.
It's only June.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
He asked me if I wanted to bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. He thinks he's Prince now.
Turns out Axl Rose was the one person watching online. Now we have nobody.
Yeah, he just leaves a negative comment in the YouTube section.
We get angry cease and desist letters. I was the king. Oh, boy. All right. Here we go, fellas.
He leaves that comment and then underneath it Slash is just like, shut up, man.
Right?
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, Slash, just like, yeah.
So I should be like, F the guy.
Who cares?
I like this thing.
Oh, goodness. All right, Moth. Are we ready to trip the light fantastic?
I am ready.
When we're ready to go, I think that Yorick would definitely give a motivational speech. I'm going to cast motivational speech, which actually gives each of us, because I'm going to do like 5, and I'll just grab one shadow player, you know, that's going to go with me too. I'm going to give it to him as well. You guys get 5 temporary hit points,
Yay!
including Hoppers. I'm going to give Hoppers 5 hit points too.
Hey.
That's a good boy. And advantage on any wisdom saving throws until your 5 hit points are gone.
That's quite nice.
I am very wise.
Bards, man.
Now let's actually hear the speech.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Go for it.
For too long, our people.
no. It's just simply, yeah. York actually would have been more of like, I didn't know what to expect when the script led me to the 2 of you, but traveling through the backstage and seeing more of who you are and what you're capable of, I feel that we are exactly on script.
Aw.
And as long as no one rewrites that, we're good.
I like the caveat you put in there. As long as nobody rewrites, we're good.
You
I
gotta have
just-
that little, don't
As
forget.
long as no one
Don't
shreds
forget.
the fabric of reality in order to suit their means, I
Don't
think things are
forget.
going to be okay.
Don't forget the threat and use that energy. You got this. Hopper, you're a good boy.
Suddenly, like, all of the potential things of rewriting the script, like, it seriously hits me, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and that's where you gain your motivation from.
Ra-
That's what it is.
Random shadow player number 1 just puts your hand on your shoulder and just like looks straight ahead, like, don't let it set in. Don't let it set in.
Like, it's okay. It's all right.
Don't let it set in.
You feel inspired by Hopper's just
Hopper's bowing up.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopper's going to run up and get it. It's okay. Okay.
So yeah, I believe that's right. I believe it's. Let me make sure it's 5 hit points and 5 creatures, 5 temporary hit points, and advantage on wisdom saves.
perfect.
If the effective creature is hit by an attack, it has advantage on its next attack.
Okay.
Also, until your 5 hit points are gone.
Perfect.
Yeah, forgot that part.
It's
yes.
be good.
Love that.
Now we're gonna have no wisdom issues coming up, but
Changing all my spells. No.
we say wisdom. You say wisdom saving throws or wisdom
Wisdom saving
save
throws.
Cool.
Advantage on wisdom saving throws, and anytime you're hit, you have advantage on your next attack.
So let's go
Okay.
fight wizards.
Yeah.
That's right. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Yep.
All right, Moth. You ready to do my eyes?
Humo goi goi fai fi sao, humo goi goi fai fi sao, humo goi goi fai fi sao.
I loved Jackie Chan Adventure.
That was the
Right?
greatest show. Nobody ever gets
That
it.
show.
Such a good show.
Good show. All right.
You have your human time is very confusing. We'll say, what do you guys call them? Hours? A couple hours?
Yes.
Okay, probably, maybe.
All right.
It's the 17th, if that counts.
It feels weird blinking normally again.
I miss my lizard eyes.
I do. I got used to hearing that slight little, like, yes, the
noise.
squelching sound.
Ew. Not a fan of that. All right.
The literal worst part.
The worst thing, the thing that everyone goes, ew. So, our group splits.
Always a
we
good
will
idea.
begin first with Rosalind. And are you staying with?
I'm with Rosalind.
You're with Rosalind.
Because it makes sense for her to have an assistant.
Yes. Okay. So, the two of you make your way up the long, winding path that circles around the Illyria estate. There at the top lies a fortress-like manor, upon which is surrounded by various bits of greenery and garden. Moth, you see these gardens, and they are off-putting to you as what should be naturally formed shrubbery and greenery has been chopped and slaughtered into uniform geometric shapes. We're talking cones, cubes, a perfect sphere at one point, just literally taking the most wild, untamed aspects of nature and sort of platifying it and making it just sort of flat and humorless.
Like the Queen of Hearts castle.
Yes, and everything is cut and manicured. All of the grass is precisely cut. It's the margin of error in between each individual blade is minuscule. To the point that you're pretty dang sure he used the folio to do his lawn. The level of perfection on here is actually rather off-putting and sort of creates a surreal what's the term whenever you look at a robot and it ooks you out?
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny
There
valley,
you go.
yeah.
It's a bit of an uncanny valley of you as well, even Rosalind. It's like you've seen lawns before and you know what a lawn is supposed to look like.
It ain't
And this
supposed to be
goes
this.
so beyond the pale of just like dang near video game textures that you're just like, I don't
like this.
It's uncomfortable, but it also, you can tell that this is maybe sort of a power play.
Mm-hmm.
The making it this clean and surreal sort of shows everyone like I have domain over this space in such a way. Literally, the grass doesn't grow without my say so. As you're wandering up, you are you make your way, and you see several other guests beginning to pile in, and you're noticing a trend. They're all wearing masks, and you recognize for a second that you were not necessarily prepared for a masquerade ball. You have time, fortunately, before you show up. With your sewing kit and stuff, you have the ability to hobble together 2 masks for you and your friend. So I'm going to ask you to make a roll, and we're going to say, I actually don't quite know about this, where you would definitely have proficiency with essentially a sewing kit and like a mending kit and everything else. So you definitely will add your proficiency bonus to your roll. But I'm going to ask the table, is there a skill? Is it just a flat d20 with adding your proficiency?
It could be performance.
It could be performance, I think, would be.
It's like 5-minute crafts.
I would argue.
Girl.
I would argue either performance or sleight of hand as an option, as you're trying to do something very fast and quickly with your hands.
Even survival potentially.
Depending on what it is, but I would say it's
I'll say performance.
performance. Okay, so a quick performance check. You definitely gain.
And add your proficiency bonus, he said.
Okay, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, because you are definitely proficient in using the skill
Way to go.
and using the tool.
That's still not pretty. It's a 10.
A 10 is perfectly fine. The masks you are able to make something. They're not super elaborate, but they're definitely well enough made that no one would scoff at them.
Do I still have my wings in my bag? Because I can give you my wings and break it up and just 2 giant wings with the eyes cut in the middle.
Ooh.
Help
Act-
action.
If you would
Actually,
like to do help action, you that a help action from you with this would allow you to re-roll that dice.
Yes.
okay, let's go. We said performance.
That's better.
That's a lot better. That's a 21.
21.
Moth saves the day.
On that 21, with Moth's help, you're basically like trying to figure out. It's like you've got a couple of scraps of cloth and not much else to work with, and he just sort of like rummages through his bag and just starts handing you random things, like the snails that he randomly grabs and like gives to people. They're from that similar weird fairy hammer space of he's just pulling out like it's like I got these shiny
Sticks
rocks
and twigs
here's
and
some,
rocks
here's some
and-
twigs.
Perfect.
A bugle probably at some point.
Here's I've
Some
got
spider
cotton,
webs.
just cotton.
Yes, thank you, Moth. Oh my gosh.
Rhinestones.
Yes, perfect. Moth, I will never tell you to put those wings away again. Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Do a little heel click.
And with that, you are able to make two very beautiful masks with Moth's wings and his sort of fairy outfit with pants, though this time. And the mask you've given him, he looks like his namesake. With his mask. This one, it's soft and cottony. It has a long proboscis that curls where his nose is, along with two rabbit-like ears that come off of a moth's head. And the holes are done in a way, and you're even able to put some makeup on him, so that way his eyes look like they're
Like a moth.
They're stained black, so that way it looks like a moth's face. And then for your own, with your sort of business suit, what color was your suit that you ended up making?
It was black with red and purple trimming around it.
So with this black and red purple trimming, with this black and red trimming, you also sort of take on your namesakes, and you have this red mask that curls up and makes sort of a crown of petals made from like taffeta and like other bits as well. So that way you've essentially got this rose crown that you're wearing that's obscuring the top half of your face, almost like a cowl. That ends up you're now that both of those masks end up being rather striking. And I'm gonna say that for in y'all's case, for essentially the rest of this party that you're going to, you get a +1 to intimidation, and you get a bonus +1 to persuasion.
Yes.
As your particular mask and everything makes you look adorable. It's fluffy and inviting, and people are going to want to listen to you because they think that it's
People
super cute.
love me.
And your thing, it's imperious and impressive enough that the words "do what I say" coming out of the mouth that is attached to that thing makes it goes, okay. Just don't yell at me.
For this party, I have a +8 persuasion.
Hey!
I'm a bard at this point.
Hey!
And as you make your way into the party, there is soft, angelic music playing. It is a Christmas party after all. People are in the season. The masks that people are wearing similarly have the naturalistic approach that you went through. Some have decided to be knock-on with the whole Christmas aesthetic. Some of them are dressed up in sort of the livery of your almost like Father Christmas-like things with holly and white furs. There's a couple of like very well-to-do ladies that have sort of dressed themselves up in a way so that way their gowns, they look like trees covered in snow. So they're just this like dark brown that slowly transitions to this like white and then eventual blue, while little peaks of brown fleck out where roots would be.
That's so pretty.
You've
Good
got
job.
men in these like bright green suits that are textured in such a way that they look like they're conifer trees. They're covered in fur with these sort of like with brown bits on their lapel. At one point in time, you see like you walk past a guy and he's like pointing up, and you see little pine cone cufflinks on his wrists, and you're just like, and you can tell that these people are, and they're almost manic in the way at how happy they are. in that this is probably the first party they've been allowed to have in the past year, and so everyone here has gone hard. They are not. They are. Everyone is pulling out all the stops. Like you can tell that people are breaking the bank. From as you're like walking up, you can see out in the distance smaller parties occurring from the people that couldn't get the invite to this, and that because everyone's allowed to participate. That this is the one night a year where they're allowed to cut loose under Malvolio's rule. And so you see little bits, you see fires going up, you see large trees have been pulled out and have been strung up with all sorts of different candles and cantrips in order from those few hedge mages that are maybe around the city that can produce light and such. And you can tell that over the course of like the hour or so it's taken you to like go from the Shadow Player's nest to, as you're making your way up this manor, it's almost like the city has slowly transformed into like a Christmas town. Like it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas out here. And it's really nice. And for a second, I think you maybe even forget that, like, oh wow, this place is miserable, as even some of the guards are not having, like, they're still wearing like a magenta pin, but they're allowed to wear essentially what their old uniforms would have been,
which are so much better.
So much better, but lots just neutral blue with like some light blue highlights and a couple smatterings of red here and there. It's very practical. It's very classic. It still screams Illyria from like the designs and everything. Like you'd be able to tell that it's like, oh yeah, it's an Illyrian style of like those patterns and stuff, and how it's used is definitely from the region, but it's not this horrendous magenta color.
Oh, thank God.
And for the first time, you actually see some people smiling. And that sort of fills you with a bit of relief. And you make your way to the front door.
I'm gonna lean down to Moth really quickly and say, "Hey, Moth, this is the time now to not say a word. Just nod. And if it seems like I'm giving you an order, just nod and do whatever I say, because you have to be the assistant. I know it's gonna sound really weird and you're gonna hear a whole bunch of weird human stuff. Just play into it, okay?"
My name is no longer Moth for this party. I am Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Okay, Kevin Bacon? Then that is what I shall call you.
I shall do my part.
Very
Here at
good,
the
Kevin
Dallas
Bacon.
Public Library would like to formally apologize to the Bacon estate. For what is about
Oh,
to
they're good.
transpire.
They're definitely good. Kevin Bacon is lucky to have us shout him out.
We're just trying to help people cut loose.
Footloose.
Cut loose.
Ooh-wee, Louise, pull me up of my knees.
You make your way towards the front door. There's a line of about a dozen or so people. Each one is basically stepping forward. There's a guard posted. They exchange pleasantries for 2 seconds. They flash him a piece of paper. He nods and lets them through. And then you see that there's another guy that's sort of just like sitting there with like what appears to be like a very long piece of scroll. Like piece of parchment that he's just like every once in a while shifting up a little bit and scratching something off.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say you've got about a minute or so to figure out how you're gonna get in without a proper invite.
This could be totally me. I swear the last time we had asked the Shadow Players if they could get us an invite. Am I totally making that up?
That sounds familiar.
That sounds familiar enough. I'm gonna roll for the Shadow Players to see if they were successful in doing that with advantage, because there's a whole lot of them and you guys have been nice.
Yeah, there's I didn't bring it up
Nope.
today because
That's okay. I got a backup plan.
They were not able to get invites. They tried
gave it a
really,
shot.
really hard.
They gave it a shot.
But they rolled a 6 and a 5.
Jesus. Okay, here I have idea.
Let's sit in the front
What
lines.
if I go and write your name very quickly on the thing over there on this piece of paper?
I was just going to cast suggestion on him.
I mean, that works too.
Let's do that. So I walk up to the guy writing, like looking at the names in the book, and I just lean over and say, "You want to write Rosalind's name in the book?"
Okay. Does suggestion have a save?
It does. Hold on. Where is it?
Yeah, but if you were like you just did.
It's a 15.
It's a 15.
It's a wisdom 15.
Wisdom saving throw of 15. Let us get. I need a.
Also, since we have advantage on wisdom saving throws, you have disadvantage. That's how it works.
That's how that works.
Well, they don't get a plus to this. What was the spell save?
15.
15.
Meets beats. Rolled exactly a 15 on the dice.
Dang it.
That was a cheat.
At which point he sort of looks up and says, "Who? What?"
Can my mage hand hold a pen?
Yes, it can technically.
If I were to hand while he is talking to her, if I were to hand a mage hand a pen and he was to write at the very last bit of that long piece of paper that he couldn't see because it's on the ground, I assume, like comically long.
It is, I did say comically long, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Okay. For you, I'm going to say... I mean, the sleight of hand, I have to read how a sleight of hand works specifically.
With a mage hand.
With a mage hand. And so, mage hand 5e, a spectral floating hand appears at a point you choose within reach. The hand lasts for the duration until you dismiss action. Vanishes if it's ever more than 30 feet away from you. Use the action to control the hand. Hands to manipulate an object, open and unlock doors, so retrieve an item, pour the contents, move the hand up to 30 feet. Can't attack, activate, or carry more than 10 pounds. Yeah, this is all within the purview of Mage Hand.
Hey!
And this isn't... And it's
I love Mage
a
Hand.
spectral floating hand. So it is... Technically, it's spectral, so it's harder to see, especially in essentially like this low light situation we're in, because we're again in eternal dusk at this point. So he's gonna roll perception with disadvantage.
Because he is looking at
He's
someone
looking
who's
at
a very
you. You said
distracting.
you want to do this, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, you definitely want to.
Man, I'm glad I rolled disadvantage on that. One of them was a 20.
Oh,
The other one
no.
was a 12. He does not notice you rolling, writing with the mage hand. It was, it's a very small object. He still has to, do you have a pen? Does someone have an extra pen on them that they could use to write with? Because he's holding his.
I guarantee I would have had a pen,
Okay.
if not like 12. At least a piece of charcoal.
Something
Yeah,
in that massive...
Something in that bag, and probably you start off with that in like every
It says
adventure
Rosalind in
here.
all caps with the fat crayon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't. There's your name is not on the.
Oh, but it is. It's right there.
Oh, you sort of points at the very bottom of the scroll.
See?
And then he's just like,
You could take my word for it, or you could keep trying to roll through that very
second.
long paper.
oh, so it is. All right, you're on your way, miss.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Come on, Kevin Bacon.
Nice.
He just sees the little, just bounce off, and he's like, "Oh my God, Kevin Bacon."
Kevin Bacon's
He's a
here?
lot shorter than I remember. He's a lot shorter than the last time I saw him. Wow.
How do you
That's
fight
what
the
they say to
tremors at
Army
that height?
heroes.
Whew.
Kevin Bacon bits.
That was a close one. That was a close one.
You make your way into the party, and you are on the ground floor. It has been cleared out, and there is essentially these massive staircases that go up to the upper levels. And in the center of the floor, or not in the center, but in the back center of it, against the wall, you see one very large, opulent throne, and then one smaller, more dinkier throne to the left of it. In that, you see Malvolio. You see a older man, gray hair, very poorly dyed. a deep black, but you can still see the strands of silver coming through. He didn't touch his roots properly. Along with essentially what looks like a beard that was darkened with essentially shoe polish with how thick it was. Basically sitting there like 8 rings on his fingers, just like sitting there, bored, like looking bored and honestly almost furious at the people around laughing and having fun.
He's so tacky.
And he's just sort of sitting there wearing just these very simple black clothes with very practical shoes. The only thing that shows that he's of any import are the rings, which are probably some form of like crown jewels that he is asked to wear as like as the ruling class, and the chair that he is sitting in.
Sensible shoes.
Skechers.
Rockports.
As you look around, you see the people around, and they're more or less sort of ignoring him. From the looks of it, he's kind of just sitting there glowering at everybody, and everyone's just sort of willing to just not come into contact with him.
Just not engage.
They're
Okay.
trying their best to sort of like, they don't want to gather any ire. You can tell that at the center of this particular party, though, where if he's the far edge of the orbit of the conversation, everyone seems to be focused on a very tall, very statuesque woman. She has very lush chestnut hair, curling down her back, wearing a very pretty, very sensible bodice. But unlike Malvolio's like all black with nothing, this has like pops on the threads and everything of colors. It's essentially like a rainbow trim. As almost a sort of defiant means of like, even though she's wearing this like very like austere like up to the neck dress, she's still putting as much color and personality into it as she can.
Got it.
And she's sitting there, and she's standing in the middle of the room talking to people constantly back and forth. She's wearing a very beautiful olive green mask that sort of curls up and turns into a tree. That's like a sort of atop her head in a manner similar to your rose crown. She's wearing essentially an olive crown that does something very similar. And you catch the eye of Olivia, Countess of Illyria.
I'm going to make my way to Olivia. It's like, I feel like it's one of those moments where we both see each other.
Yes.
And it's a silent, like a recognition of like, oh, I like what you got. I
Yeah.
like what you got. Hey, girl.
Yes. There's a moment where you two make eye contact and you start walking towards her, and she sort of shakes a couple hands, gives some pats, and then like sort of breaks away from the group in order to make her way towards a table where there are all sorts of drinks and food fixings and stuff like that for people to get like little hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that.
Okay.
And she sort of makes her way over to that and sort of stops in front of the punch bowl. And sort of just waits for you without making eye contact, but you can tell that she stopped moving and is waiting for you to come to her.
Okay. I'm gonna make my way to the punch bowl and grab a glass, and I'm gonna hand another glass to Kevin Bacon. And as I'm handing it to you, I just look at you and say, "Don't say a word." Good evening.
Hello.
I love your mask.
Isn't it wonderful?
It really is. It's such style, but without being in your face in a kind of a negative, tacky kind of way.
It was a gift from an ex.
Oh, it is simply beautiful.
Yes.
Simply beautiful. And you know what I'm noticing. I should introduce myself. I'm so sorry. My name is Rosalind.
Rosalind. That name sounds familiar.
Oh, I'm from Verona.
Are you?
Y-
As I live in Bede, a Capulet in my house.
yes. Yes.
Isn't that hilarious?
It was just the strangest thing. I received an
haven't-
invite and
Oh,
I
we-
said, "Oh, I have never been," so I decided to come.
I'm so glad an invite finally came through. I've been
Yes.
trying to ask after your mother for what feels at least a year now.
Oh well,
But every single time, but missives never seem to be able to make their way out of Illyria.
we've had
It's so wonderful.
a
Can you
turn.
can you come with me to the drawing room real quick?
I would love to. Absolutely. My assistant, Kevin Bacon,
yes,
is with
please.
me. Yes, come.
She sort of takes you into a side room. She sort of slips out, and she sort of waits for a second for the crowd to sort of, like, she's like, wait a second, and then she waits for the crowd to sort of move its way over to block her from Malvolio's view. And then she's like, okay, now, and then takes you very quickly into a room, closes the door behind her, and then goes, please tell me your mother sent you.
Blink once if you need help. Okay. then the short answer is no. But I am here to help.
That's very good. Why isn't your mother here?
My mother was poisoned.
It was a joke that went out of hand.
Kevin Bacon.
Poisoned her.
Kevin Bacon.
It's a long situation. And in the event of trying to find out who poisoned my mom, it seems to be an operative of Malvolio.
She sort of just blanches at that.
Don't say a word. Don't say a word. Take a deep breath. It is bad, but hold on. We are going to right some wrongs tonight. All right? But here's what I need from you. I need you to act as if this conversation we are having never took place. Right now, we are just exchanging pleasantries and we are discussing fashion options for Malvolio's kingdom, so to speak. With the knowledge that it must stay to his liking, but also blending in some things that you like. Yes? And if he
Told
says,
him I wanted more color in the kingdom, and he decided that meant that the guards needed to be dressed like
"Oh my God, that's
violet monstrosities.
listen, it is the ugliest thing I've ever seen since Sin came in July. It is terrifying, and I am not going to lie to you. The man should be killed for that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say that much louder, but it's terrible. The pain you must be living in looking at that garishness.
It's not the looking at it; it's being asked to touch it.
Ugh.
Being,
Ugh.
it's not. Yes.
His fabric choices are hideous too.
Oh yes, there's a scratchy.
Oh my God. It's terrible. We have to get you out of this situation. We've got to shut all of this down. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. All right. I would like for you to give me an audience with Malvolio.
Okay,
Here's how we're going to do it. Again, I am just here to propose collaboration between the two cities. I'm here to make him feel as if he will take over both.
He has been trying to expand for
So-
a while now. He would be intrigued by that idea.
So we make him think we give him what we want. Listen, I have excelled at playing incredibly dumb. That has been my lifeline. Act dumb, say dumb things, move like dumb. We're not dumb. Neither you nor me. We're very smart women. And if he is the head of the household, you are the neck, and you turn the head in whatever direction you want.
I've tried so hard.
Sometimes you just need a little help. So, buck up. Put the mask back on. Smile.
Am I a strong woman too?
Kevin Bacon, drink your punch.
You can tell that she's visibly very shaken and anxious. And she's like, you're coming at her and she's trying to get a word in edgewise, and she's like, okay, your mother didn't send you.
No. But
You don't understand. There's a reason why I asked for her specifically.
why?
When last we spoke, she told me that she had the means to fight back against him.
What?
Rosalind, I know what Malvolio's been doing in order to change the world around us.
She says,
Sebastian, I don't know where he is. I'm hoping somehow Malvolio's kept him alive just to taunt him. But I know he's got a folio. When I last spoke to your mother, she said that she might know where one was too. Which tells me that if an agent of Malvolio is the one that poisoned her, then she must have been onto something.
My mother did not say anything of the sort to me about any of this. I've had to figure out, with the help of Shadow Players and Kevin Bacon here. His real name is Moth.
I can tell. He didn't seem the Kevin type.
I didn't think so either, but he liked the name.
It was my undercover name.
Keep
Okay.
going, Moth.
I'm assuming you have a plan to get it from him.
Yes, we do. I will not tell you the details of this plan so that if anything goes awry, you can still claim that you didn't know, truthfully.
Okay.
All I ask from you is this. Get me an audience tonight with Malvolio.
In the next, 20 minutes.
I need about 20 minutes, definitely. Let us not let him know my name is Rosalind. I don't want him to put two and two together,
That
and
seems bad, yes.
so we will change my name for this.
Jocelyn.
Oh, Moth. Oh,
Kira Sedgwick.
Kira sounds like a fantastic name.
Kira?
Yes. Introduce me as Kira.
Kira it shall be.
I hope my dress is similar to what he would expect as being appropriate. We don't want any kind of outward anything to set him off.
He will appreciate the fact that it doesn't show a lot of skin. He will not appreciate the fact that a woman is wearing pants. Yes.
I don't think anyone should wear pants.
You and me both, buddy. You and me both.
Well, I will use that as a that I had to travel so far to get here.
Roughly, yes.
Okay. It's okay. We're going to make this work.
Okay.
Deep breath. Buck up. Smiles.
Rosalind is going to roll persuasion here. This will not determine, or not Rosalind,
Olivia.
Olivia will roll persuasion here. This will not determine whether or not it is successful, but how long it will take her to ply him in order to get you your audience. Until then, you're basically going to be wandering around. And I rolled. Okay. So we're going to cut to her putting the mask on, stepping out. And as the door opens, we shift over to York, dressed in... How is York attempting to disguise himself as the Duke this time?
Well, I think that he's just going to do a full disguise self when the time comes. But for now, until the time to reveal, he's just big old cloaked, hooded.
Yes.
Since our propaganda campaign was successful, is there kind of a crowd of commoners gathering? I'm assuming.
So what is occurring is that a few minutes time from the manor, there is essentially at the foot of the hill that the manor is at, there are gates that you essentially must be opened in order to proceed up towards the manor. And about a block away from that, there is essentially a public park. At the time, it has been decorated for Christmas. There are a couple of trees. They have lights pinned up on them. Some magic, some are just candles. At the center of which is a gazebo used for things like weddings, proclamations. During the summer, back before Malvolio ruled, this is where live music would be held. Small 6-piece, 4-piece bands would basically come to this public place and play for people during those leisurely times. And now the crowd is beginning to gather, as this was deemed as probably the best location. You would be able to get to the manor rather expediently, especially if you were to go fast. In addition, there are about a stone's throw away a stagecoach, basically a coachman with 2 horses that takes people around the town, sort of like the couples thing where it's Christmas, now is the time to do that. So you essentially have, in addition, that at certain points in time you'd be able to commandeer if necessary in order to sort of take things. So you have multiple options of how to get up there if you need to.
Okay.
You would be hard pressed to sneak up there, but one could run, ride, or even float up there if they needed to, if they have the magical means.
Okay.
From this, the crowd is beginning to gather.
Okay, so a couple of things I would want to do in that, like the 45 minutes that we had, the shadow players that were on hand, and I keep thinking about this pledge thing. It's almost like if these are pledges, then Yorick's the alumni that's been hanging out in the pledge house for a while, just kind of showed back up. Anyway, he would say, okay, it's time to start disgruntled. Look at that. Look at the aristocracy. They have, and we don't. Just look at that opulence. Just kind of start that mumbling. The one head pledge that I gave the motivational speech to, I want to charge him with, when the time comes, I want him to be the one to start riling up the crowd.
Yes.
Because I think that once the Duke appears, that's all bets are off. So when the time comes, you can do this. All right, you talk about what you feel, but you got to get them ready to go, ready to make a revolt, ready to tear down the gate. And here's why. And then you come to me. I will drop my cloak hood back. I want to be the Duke in that moment. Not only the Duke, but specifically in the old garb. The traditional wear, almost like he's ready for battle. So that even the guards see that he's not wearing the magenta, he's wearing the traditional colors.
Yes.
He's ready to go, and that's gonna be the plan. I want to also lay a bardic inspiration on this fellow, and I want to be there to kind of give him the help action too, so that when he rolls for this, that's the one. The reveal is just going to be kind of the reveal, and you kind of see where it goes from that. And then in the last minute, as we're clocking the time and getting ready for him to start, I want to be looking towards the gate, right? I'm with most of the guards at that gate. I want to clock the largest guy. Either he's the biggest, baddest one, the one that would cause the most problems if there was a scuffle, or the one in charge, or both.
Okay. And that's for the guards at the gate.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the guards at the gate, the good news is that they're all kind of wimps.
Okay.
From what you're able to see from them, it looks like Malvolio would probably put his best guard closer to him. These guys here on the outside are kind of just meant to just move along.
There's definitely the one in charge then is the one I'm
the one in
eyeballing.
charge is like an older guy. Temples starting to gray a little bit. Frown lines across his face. Sort of just leaning against the gate, bored. Like, he doesn't seem like he's really all that enthused to do his job. He's nominally in charge, and that means that if he gets to lay back, everybody else does.
So if I clock him, so as the shadow players begin to spread their rumors, and just about 1 minute before
Yeah.
he's ready to start, publicly standing up and getting ready for the Duke's reveal, I want to just kind of, from the crowd, just point at that guy and use message and just kind of whisper to him for about a minute's worth of time. Little things that about Father Christmas. Just like it's occurring to him. Yeah, that guy's kind of weird. And I'm going to spend a minute using my skill called Words of Terror, just making him completely and totally frightened of Father Christmas.
You are terrible.
Yeah, it's like, you better watch out. You better not pout. Every once in a
No,
while,
he's watching you when you're sleeping.
he sees
Oh
you.
my God.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
You see
He
during that
sees you.
minute, he starts from just being like,
Oh,
"Did you say something?" And then the other guys is just kind of like looking.
You
at him.
what?
what?
And he's like, "You sure?" Yeah. About 20 seconds in, he's like, and about a minute, and does he have a save against
He
this?
does. He gets to make a wisdom saving throw, and the DC is 16.
DC 16 wisdom save. Well, he is not frightened.
Okay. All right. But that was just a little extra thing. I'll mark
Yeah.
that off.
But he is just like,
Okay.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
Terrible.
as about 5 minutes before you are about to make your entrance, one of the shadow players comes running up towards the crowd, and he's panning to you and the head guy. We'll call him Rock. He goes up to you and Rock, and he's just like, "We have a problem. You know how Moth spread the rumor that there was going to be a special appearance by someone? Turns out there was another special someone coming.
Yes, yes.
I don't know how, but apparently word got out, and a representative from Denmark is coming. And is having a big official coming out thing. Like, it hasn't been announced. No one knows. Everyone thought that Denmark has basically been in the hands of its royal families for like the past couple months, but apparently we just got word back from the rumors and the misses and everything, and he just like pulls out like a piece of paper that sort of shows like it's a newspaper that's not from the city-state. The city-state has had a very hard time receiving news of the outside world. And it looks like something finally slipped through the cracks, and it says, new chancellor elected to the seat of Denmark's throne. And he's like, I have no idea who this is, and he shows you a picture. And you see a rakish smile and a well-kept and trimmed mustache and beard, bright eyes that you remember, that same cocky grin,
I don't think it's Hamlet.
and you see Hamlet.
Not him bringing Hamlet back from the dead.
No.
Man.
Hamlet in the paper.
Okay,
You do
so
not see the name Hamlet. It's Hamlet's face, but the individual in there is just named Thane.
That's wild.
all right, this is a roll for me to figure out what to do. Oh, okay. No. No, Yorick doesn't realize that it's just the face.
Okay.
Yeah. He says, where are they coming? When? What do you know?
They'll be here any minute.
Are they going to the party?
Yes, it's their first big bit of foreign policy is that they're making the rounds and shaking hands with all of the rulers of all of the different city-states to know that Denmark is no longer a lawless no man's land. It has a proper ruler again.
I'm going to turn to Rock, and I'm going to say, Rock, this is now your distraction. You've got this. You know what to do. Disguise self as a staple among the shadow players. It's your time. Go. Do it. Now. And I am just simply going to cast invisibility.
Okay.
And I am going to get as quickly as possible. Straight up the road, but invisible. So I guess stealth with advantage. I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay. So roll stealth with advantage.
All right. Here we go.
Why have we never discussed just immediately killing Malvolio?
Too easy. Well, because though we don't know where the
23.
folio is, so then anyone else can get their
No
hand
clue
on
where
it.
you are.
Okay, yeah.
The guy
But
that
if
you
we
were
take him
whispering
out,
to
there's
this
still
whole
room
time
to go look for the folio.
is like he's not
And a
paying
bunch of
attention.
guards
And
that
the
are
other
gonna
guards
try
are
to
like,
kill
"Are you okay?" He's just like, "I don't know, man. It's like there's a
I'm with you.
fly in my ear and it's bugging
Hoppers
the
could
crap
do
out of
it.
me."
Yeah.
Okay. New
So
Everyone
plan.
else is
Rock lost my advantage, but he still got my bardic inspiration,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna go get up to the
take
house so I can
I'm
be in
Malvolio,
place if
And
something.
I'm gonna
I am
shank him.
going to
Gonna
roll
literally use-
rock,
literally use-
and we will
Magic
see
missile to
how that
shank him.
goes.
I brought my toothbrush. I'm good.
Just and then take off and go find the folio.
Okay.
Well, there's
And you. What's your
I'm
bardic?
serious.
Oh, my bardic
Just
is
bum
D8.
A D8.
We overthought this plan.
We really did.
He rolls, and about. You start rolling, and about a minute
mage and the
away
magic missile later.
from
Gone.
Yeah.
the front door of Malvolio's
Everybody
manor.
hates him anyway.
You hear a from the crowd, just out of earshot. Your keen senses do, and you turn.
So
You
it's
give us
fake
a half
Malvolio,
second
the
to
real
turn
one's back
back,
there.
and you see Rock standing in
Well,
the gazebo. His
sorry
hood
about you,
pulled back,
imposter.
looking like Orsino. And you don't hear what he's saying, but you can tell that he is giving a speech of some kind with great conviction. And you start hearing yelling from people. You start seeing guards near the front of the gate start to sort of mobilize. And you see that a couple of the shadow players you see lights start to gather as members of the shadow players appear to be lighting torches.
We're about 5 minutes early, but okay.
Yeah. And with that, you are now rushing up to get to Malvolio's manor, and we shall now go to Rosalind and Moth. You stand at the foot of the throne of Malvolio. To his left sits Rosalind. To his left sits Olivia, in her mask, very demure, trying to appear the perfect wife. And she says, "Dear, I would like to introduce you to a friend, Kira. She works at a fashion cooperative from Verona, and she wishes to speak to you of business. I know the festivities bore you, so I thought now would be a good time to introduce you. And this is her footman, Kevin Bacon."
Oh, good evening, good sir. I really don't wish to take up too much of your time, and I must apologize for the slacks I'm wearing. I did travel. I would have come dressed more appropriately to your liking. I come bearing need and request for perhaps a collaboration between Verona and you. Perhaps maybe giving you more of a foothold in Verona? If you're open to that discussion, sir.
I am open to new business dealings in foreign territories, certainly. I will admit the textile industries would not have been my first inclination as a possible business venture.
Well, let me point something out to you right now. Textiles might seem like it's somewhat frivolous and unnecessary. However, the buy-in for followers is quite high with textiles, specifically not just design but fabric and also, dare I say, the cosmetic industry. It is a $5.7 billion industry per year. That's not just money, that's clout. Perhaps I can offer you a way into that with Verona?
Do you have inns with some of the more important families therein?
I do indeed. I have inns with the Capulet family.
Really?
Oh, yes. Yes. I've done a lot of business dealings with Rosalind Capulet. I'm sure you've heard of her design and cosmetology. I'm sure you're aware of her business.
I am not familiar, but I do not keep track of, as you said earlier, frivolities. However, if a Capulet is in the industry, mayhaps I have overlooked a potential means of accruing capital. I believe I have time to listen.
Sir, perhaps we might go to a place with less populace. I must be honest, this level of celebration, per se, is more than what I am used to. If anything, I would prefer to just be quiet and enjoy more austere locations. And
You are saying all of the right things to him as you're recognizing just the slight smirk across his face as he recognizes a potential kindred individual. I am in agreement with that. Olivia, be a peach and clear a path towards the upper balcony. I shall take you to the upper floors, and we may speak of business there. And he sort of gets up and dusts himself off.
I'm gonna cast a message. I'm gonna send a message to Kevin Bacon, and I'm gonna say, "Is this a good time to shank him?"
I don't know, but she can turn into fruit, so I'm already kind of confused. Internal message. I can send it back.
Yeah, message you can.
Maybe wait for upstairs. We can get him there. We have a shank plot that we just added to this whole
Oh,
thing.
I know.
So.
I know. I heard. It was a possibility.
We didn't think about that sooner. We should have.
I mean, the problem is that if you do that, you don't know where the folio is.
We just gotta look for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So I will follow Olivia.
Olivia takes you and Malvolio through the crowd. They sort of part as they see Malvolio come clear. You go up a set of stairs and across a landing to a balcony that is overlooking the front of the manor. From this vantage point, you can see down to the base of the pathway that leads up to the manor, and you see a crowd of individuals sort of gathered around in a park down there. There's a gazebo and everything, and he just sort of stares at it and says,
It's a lot, isn't it?
common rabble.
I understand Christmas, yay Christmas, but this.
Olivia, leave us. Me and my new friend will be speaking of important matters.
I send a message to Olivia. Don't worry, I got this.
She nods to you both, and she closes the door, and while Malvolio's back is turned to her, She sort of just you can see some tension leave her body as she realizes she's the two of you through the glass door. And then right as she's about to turn, she like looks back at him and just flips him the bird while he's not looking. And then just starts doing that a couple times. And then Malvolio starts to turn back, and she's just standing there like, hello. And he's just like, go on. And she's like, okay, bye. And he turns back around, and then she's like walking away, and then peeks back for a second and throws it back and then walks. Malvolio sort of stares out at the balcony, down at the balcony, and he just sort of shakes his head and says, look at them. Lots of sinners, all of them, engaging in frivolous activity as a means of trying to distract themselves from their real goals. Focus is required.
And not being productive in the least.
Not being productive.
At all. I see this all the time in Verona. And I will be honest with you, I would prefer to go in a much more quiet way of life. Every other weekend there are parties and loudness and people and goodness. The number of people actually attending church has definitely decreased, and I would like to see that increase.
Precisely. This is a day for the Lord, darn it.
Right. And here we are, just eating and drinking as if they're a bunch of common heathens.
You sort of go back and forth on this particular mode of conversation for a good 2-3 minutes. Could you two roll perception for me?
So Moth is just struggling right now. He's just like, oh no!
What's to say so much?
Ooh, you said perception?
Perception.
19.
I got a 6.
Oh, he rolled a 1. You are engaged in this conversation. Moth is currently dying. And it's from you getting that 19 that you notice off in the distance lights beginning to pop up in that crowd, and you hear the distant murmurs, "Eat the rich," just start to pop up, and you're like, oh, that's, at least the plan seems to be going well in that direction.
Finally, something's about to happen that's more interesting than this.
And the house band starts playing Aerosmith.
This, I was not prepared for a Christmas party of this magnitude.
Moth, are you going to point that out, or are you keeping that to yourself?
Can I do it subtly to her?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to like, cause they're on a roll of,
Yeah.
of just, but I kind of look at Roz and just,
I catch his glance, and I just slightly, as I'm talking, turn my body a bit so I could see.
Malvolio
In the distance?
has his whole head up his butt right now, sniffing his own farts, and does not notice the very obvious eye pointing you two are doing.
Right.
'Cause at this point, he's just kind of pontificating, and he's just like, and another thing that I dislike about the French.
he's
Agreed.
monologuing.
Absolutely,
It's
yes.
the terrible things that they do with cheese. Cheese
it's-
should just taste like bland salt that's kind of creamy.
I
What is all
agree.
of this funk and fruit that they're adding to it? It's unnecessary, and sugar is bad for you.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at as I'm wholeheartedly agreeing with him, I'm looking out and I'm seeing all the fires lit and people eat the rich. Oh, it's coming.
Yeah. Switching back over to you. You are at the front door that is currently closed. All of the guests have been accounted for. It's farther enough along in the party by this point that, and Malvolio's requirements of people being on time, because he's totally one of those people that would lock the door from new entry to get in, because he said everyone needs to get in at 8, and it's currently 8:15. If they're not here yet, they're not allowed to come in. So he, the Unesia locked front door. What do? How are you gonna? Or what's your plan now that you're here near the manor?
Still invisible.
Still invisible.
Quick perception check to see if there's any other obvious entrance.
Yeah, go ahead and roll perception.
All right, it's not my best. 7, 9, 12.
A 12. You could try to sneak, go around to the back. That's a bit dangerous though, because the back of it is over a cliff. Or you could, to coin the phrase here, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo, as there is a trellis that goes up towards the balconies. The sides of the walls have been sort of laid up, and ivy and white roses are going up. And again, perfect rectangle. Perfect rectangles. It's going up, and they're slowly progressing with like from the far ends, it just being like a little short squares until eventually you get the ones that are actually overlooking a balcony.
Is there anybody manning the door?
No, the door is locked. You don't see any guards in the front. What did you roll for your perception?
12.
12? Off of a 12, you just know that there's no guards in the front of the door.
All right. This is not my forte. I guess I'm going to climb.
Okay.
Yep.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Hey, 19.
A 19. Yeah. On the left or right side?
I'm going to go up the right side.
Right side. Okay. Luck roll on which balcony they're at. You said the right side, right? Okay. Evens, it's right there. You will start climbing, and you will begin to overhear their conversation. Left, and you will be on the other balcony. If it's an odd number, it's an even number. It's a two. On two, on evens, as you begin to climb, it should be salty and creamy. None of this fruit nonsense that they keep on adding to cheese. I don't
It's too
understand it.
much.
I'm digressing. This is far too much. Tell me more of your business.
Well, sir, what I offer not just particular design, and if I had my druthers, the design would go from these fantastical, almost abominations into something a bit more practical and uniform, so that our populace could be more productive. And what I offer is a way to sell that to them, so that they don't see it as a forcible takeover, but instead, oh, this is an idea given to us by a great leader.
This is a fantastic idea. I love this as a concept, as a means of buying their loyalties rather than having to, well, force them as it has been. I will admit, myself and my primary benefactor have been looking for more subtle ways of maintaining control over the populace.
Primary benefactor?
Yes, I have an ally of sorts. They should be here, but they are the type to show up fashionably late.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I know, but alas, the man is far more powerful than I am. Both the tools and the means that he has, I have no means of matching them, even with my own formidable skills.
Perhaps we can bring him into this conversation.
Yes, he should hopefully be here in just a few minutes.
Yorick would probably wait normally, but he's flummoxed with this whole Hamlet image, and I'm going to message Rosalind from the balcony. Point my finger at her. Rosalind, it's Yorick. It's Hamlet. It's Hamlet. Hamlet's coming.
I'm trying to maintain my composure during this and still answer back. I thought Hamlet was dead.
He's coming.
Jesus Christ.
I'm outside the window. Proceed with plans. Just know we've got to do this fast.
Okay. Might I ask, what region is your benefactor from? I ask because this might influence designs.
Well, the cat's sort of going to be out of the bag after tonight, and with the new year, I suppose I should. I'm in a festive mood. Help me. But have you ever been to Denmark?
Oh, I've only dreamed of going to Denmark. I would love to.
Fascinating culture, wonderful people. Everything is there is very clean, very pristine.
Yes, I've heard.
Yes.
But I think the last time, well, I should say, when I had first had aspirations of traveling to Denmark, I think I was right after reading about the Dane family, the Hamlet's family. And I've heard there's still a vacuum there, so I don't know if it is still as clean and pristine as it should be.
And that is the rub. My benefactor Thane is now their new elected prime minister. Yes, his means of control are so fascinating. He seems to just have a way with people that, frankly, I will never admit this in front of him. I'm rather envious.
Oh, you mean all of those stories of Hamlet being passed on are incorrect?
He's not. No. Hamlet is dead. I speak of fame.
Oh. That is.
I will admit, now that you pointed out, the two of them, I suppose, would be considered rather similar looking, but if I'm being perfectly frank, every man from that region looks similar to me. Blonde hair, blue eyes, a bit tall.
Oh, they do have very similar haircuts and
yes, and
facial
so
hair, yes.
I just assumed, and I don't quite know what royal family he originally hailed from, but I would assume he would have to have some level of aristocratic nature in order to actually maintain some form of control over them. But we've been originally, whenever we came into contact, we were in conflict, but an agreement was reached of sorts.
So potentially then, you two great leaders together could have this space here, Denmark, and then potentially Verona.
Yes, although I would rather keep Verona to myself.
Well, I could be a conduit.
Despite
for
the
both.
fact that I consider him a staunch ally, make no mistake that in this game I plan to win.
Yes. And I think you are exactly what Verona needs in leadership.
That's so kind of you.
Oh, I only speak the truth. It's not flattery, sir. I am, again, very tired of all the frivolity and the unpiousness happening. and the-
Malvolio, FYI, and Twelfth Night is a rube and would 100% just fall for all of this without having to roll.
And
That's why I'm not having to roll
Exactly.
persuasion or anything. Malvolio would just go with it.
You can lie to that man all day. He's here for
he
it.
totally just believed that fake letter to Olivia. He's like, yeah, no, absolutely. This woman that in every other aspect has said that she utterly dislikes me is totally secretly in love with me.
She loves me.
Woohoo!
Duh. God. Yes, I think you are exactly the leader that we need in Verona. And quite honestly, maybe there's still some bit of spats and back and forth a bit between the Montague and the Capulets. And I think you would be the person to just put all of that to end and put everything to right.
Yes. Malvolio the Bridge Builder.
Oh, that
like
is
this.
such a wonderful, wonderful title. Malvolio for the people.
Yes. He sort of, for the people, he sort of turns around to look at his people and sees the herd of people with torches and pitchforks that have just knocked over the gate, stomping their ways up towards the castle.
Look! Already, look at what you have created here. You have people who are coming to celebrate your leadership right now.
Oh, bother not again!
Not again?
This is the third time this month! At which point he sort of shakes his head and says, you know what? Follow me. You're not going to remember any of this anywhere, and frankly, I always do like to show it off. Come.
And I follow quickly behind him.
He makes his way up past the out through the landing, and then he goes into another room that looks to be a library.
Kevin Bacon is with us, right?
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
What about you, York?
So they leave the room that I'm
Yeah,
looking.
they're leaving the balcony and they're heading back. They're heading back inside.
Then I would follow. Yes.
Yes.
I summon hoppers on the way and keep them in the backpack.
Yeah.
He's with us.
Perfect.
Yes. I'm gonna roll another perception for Malvolio just because he's now been a bit shaken up and he's not so far in his own head on this. I still highly doubt he's gonna be able to beat your. Yep. Nope. Even rolling that high, it doesn't beat yours because I gave him a negative wisdom. As you make your way, Malvolio sort of starts on. I do so love telling the origin story to people, even if I know that they're not going to remember after I've finished my work. But I suppose for you, it might actually benefit that if you're 100% down, this might be more fun. I'm assuming your footman knows to keep his mouth shut. He's not said a word this entire time.
Oh, Kevin Bacon is mute. I personally removed his tongue.
Fantastic! I can already tell you and I are going to be fast friends. And he sort of like goes through and he starts like he heads over to a bookcase and then pulls out like a red book, then a blue book, then a yellow book, then a red book again. At which point the bookcase shudders and then shifts to the side. And he says, originally I had been rather adrift. I had just had the woman that I had sent my undying love to taken from me by a devil-may-care ne'er-do-well pretending to be royalty. I had been upstaged in the works of love by another woman, which admittedly hurt my more masculine energies, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
I understand.
And so I took to traveling, and in doing so, I wandered the wilderness around Illyria for days, months, weeks, tired and haggard, covered in scratches and bruises, practically starving. I originally thought I was hallucinating whenever I found it.
Oh, you poor
but
man.
the good Lord provides, and he, as this is happening, he's taking you down these like bizarre secret back hallways. You're having to crouch and like lean to the side in order to squeeze through passageways in order to get around, and eventually he makes his way to the top of a tower. And then he says, oh, this is another good trick. And then he sort of next to the tower, the window of the tower, he pulls out a flower that he had planted there, and pulls out this bright red earth that the flower was planted in, and just and blows it out the window, and it carries it, and you see the dust settle on what is essentially an invisible platform that is now handing out the window. And he says, watch your step, there's no railing. And he sort of climbs out the window and starts stepping on the thing. Don't worry, and he starts jumping up and down, perfectly safe. Had it...
How could I not trust your leadership?
Oh, stop. And he says, and then I found it. This thing that allowed me to turn the world as I knew it should have been. And at first I thought I would be a bit more devil-may-care about it. I started changing things more on a willy-nilly, and that is when, fortunately, my friend came to me. See, Thane had gotten his hands on one of these as well, and he told me that there are always dramatic repercussions whenever one tends to poke and pull at the strings of reality like an instrument, in the same way that a harp can, with a pluck, create the most sonorous sound. It can as well, upon a full flick, create a loud clang that clashes with everything around it. One must be subtle when they make changes and only do something drastic in emergencies, such as this. And he looks down and you see that parts of the manor are now on fire. From the people who have come in. People are screaming and running out of the manor while all this is happening. And then he makes his way and he sort of stops and like puts his hand out, and he's like, now where is the damn... Stupid, I knew I should have grabbed more. It's right... Oh, there it is. And then you see him twist an invisible knob and pull it open, and you see a absolutely lavish room just floating in the middle of nowhere. From the outside, it's completely invisible, but he's pulled this invisible door, and now you see essentially this like floating scribe spots, something akin to like the it's almost monk-like in the way that it looks like it's stone, and on it there's just a dais, and there, laying just like there's only one object, and just laying on the table like any other book is a illuminated, gold-paged book. And he says, now, the real secret is finding the right thing to do at the right time in order to pull a sudden change that causes repercussions in others. So, if I turn to the page for today, and he starts flipping, Oh yeah, here's fun. And he turns the book, and you see as he's pointing at it, he says, and then you see it reads, and then.
I cast hold person.
Okay.
I was about to mage hand it.
Okay. You cast hold person. And what is the save for that?
22.
I wish. It's a 15.
15.
Is it a wisdom saving?
Yep.
Is it visual and somatic?
Is this my higher level? It's my second level. It's my second
So,
level spell. So, sorry.
Verbal,
What do you
somatic.
say? Somatic vs components. What is? I can't see from here.
Visual and somatic.
Visual and somatic. Okay. So when you do your hold person, what's the visual effect that it causes?
Like visual effect for him?
That because
What do you do? To,
Oh,
yeah, to do it right.
Oh.
So like you could do a hold person, and it looks like big spectral chains come out and bind somebody.
No.
Like so, what does yours look like?
so my hold person, it's like a wave of my fingers, and it is like that pink sparkly
yeah.
dust. Like that hasn't changed, even though I've changed locations. But much in the same way when I cast hold person at my own dinner party, it just pops out and it like circles them and just keeps them.
All right, and he needs to beat a 15.
Yes. That is wisdom.
He rolled an 8. Can they still talk?
I don't
yeah,
remember.
they're just immobilized, right?
Yeah.
What does it say on it? The condition. Read it.
The end of each of its turns, the target can make another wisdom saving throw. On a success, the spell ends on the target. Doesn't say anything about you not talking.
Well, okay.
So Moth just walks up. grabs the
And he says, "What is happening?
I would like to make myself visible,
What is happening?"
and while doing so, use unsettling presence, which just simply gives him disadvantage on his next saving throw.
What's happening? Oh, I want the folio.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you would like to change reality in the way you want it.
As you're saying this, the exact words that you are saying are magically being transcribed on the page that he has turned to.
Yep.
And it says, and then Rosalind says, or it says Rosalind : negative, intimidatingly, blah, 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 like stage directions.
You would like to change the world in the way that you want to. And I would like to simply have day and night back. Also, sending your little minion to poison my mom? Not nice. Not nice at all. And your guards are the tackiest thing I've ever seen since Tacky came to Tacky Town.
You.
And Olivia hates you, and she has every right to. Your face looks like a butthole.
Infidel! You will release
his face
me,
changes
or
into-
I will do everything in my power to rend you and your little stooges asunder. Do
Keep
you
talking,
hear
and I will
me?
missile you, and I will kill you right where you stand.
I think Yorick is intimidating. He slowly steps in between. And he says, "You have taken it upon yourself to rewrite the words of the script. No mortal should have within their grasp the power you have taken, the lives you have changed, the lies you have told, and now you will pay."
You need me.
Moth is holding the book.
I say Moth has the book, puts in his backpack, and then like as they're talking, they're doing this big intimidating thing. I'm tying his shoes together.
Good job, Moth.
You need me. Stop that, you little rapscallion.
I need you for what? To get out of here?
You don't know how to use it.
Oh, I'm sure I'll figure it out. I'm not a dumb girl. I'll figure something out.
It took me weeks to learn how to use it, and I had a teacher.
Well, that's your folly. Can I please shank him now?
No. I will. Yorick's going to kill him.
Okay.
Like in hold possession, if he can just cut his throat, he's going to kill
Oh
him.
yeah, no, absolutely. Right, you can't. That's free. That's free. You can just slit his throat.
Oh.
And now Yorick is going to use his new 6th level ability. And what you see is instantly when he dies, as a reaction, I absorb his shadow. and that there's light coming from somewhere in the room, the shadow on the ground that was Yorick's shadow is now Malvolio's shadow. And when I'm ready, I can invoke his presence, his visage, and have the memories I need to pass myself off as him. I can carry a shadow with me. I said because Hamlet's coming.
That is insane.
I did not know
That is
that
insane.
they did that.
What?
Cool.
Oh my God.
Here it is. This is at 6th level. You gain the ability to adopt a humanoid's persona.
What?
When a humanoid dies within 30 feet of you, you can magically capture its shadow using your reaction. You retain the shadow until you use it or until you finish a long rest.
Okay.
Wow.
So you'll have approximately, and it's until you use it. So you can use it for approximately a few minutes. So you could probably, I would argue, then if you were to make a change in the folio using Malvolio's ability, you get to do one. I'm going to say you get basically one before Malvolio's spirit's gone. If you're going to use that as a means of like trying to get out of a situation.
Actually, I just wanted this to fool Hamlet. I believe Hamlet's
yeah.
coming.
And
I
that's
want
also-
Malvolio's visage, and I
is
want
also
his
an
surface
option.
memories.
Yeah, that's also an option.
Just so you know, it says I can use the shadow as an action. When you do, it vanishes,
No, you're good.
transforming me into a disguise. I now look like the dead person, but healthy and alive. The disguise lasts for 1 hour until I end it as a bonus action. While in disguise, I can gain access to all information that the humanoid would freely share with a casual acquaintance. So no deep secrets, but yeah, such as information, background. Yeah, another creature can see through my disguise with a wisdom or insight check,
Gotcha. Okay.
contested by my deception check.
You have.
I'm sorry. I'm still rocked by
Yeah,
that.
no, you stole a shot.
Yeah, no, I just
Whoa.
stepped
You
in and
have
did
killed
it.
and stolen Malvolio's shadow.
York, I'm scared of you.
In doing so, Moth now has a folio in his possession.
The new BBEG moth.
And you're all still in this invisible room. So what do you do now?
I'm gonna say York's a little frantic.
Let's go.
Hamlet is alive, and Hamlet is coming.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's deal with him. Come on.
Let's do a quick search of this room.
Yeah, roll investigation.
Where'd it go?
That's
Sorry.
an 18. One of the things I heard that I don't know all the rules. York is not interested in using the folio. He wants
have
to
an
stop
18.
anybody from using it.
Yeah.
But he has heard that there is ink involved. So in addition to anything else around the room, like bonus daggers or anything, is there any special container of ink or anything? in the
There
room?
is.
Is there a quill with it, or is it
Yes.
just okay?
There is next to where the book was. There is a small earthen jar that is filled with. There's a small earthen jar, and then there is a quill next to it, laying down.
I'm gonna reach out and grab the jar and the quill.
Roll medicine.
9. Dang.
I rolled a 17, by the way, on the
Investigation.
investigation.
Okay.
I'm rolling like crap
What
right
did
now.
what did you end up rolling on?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, 17.
I'll give you this because it's cool, and honestly, you two rolled high enough. Rosalind grabs the jar, and the two of you smell blood.
Human blood?
You smell blood. Yes.
That-
Human blood.
But it didn't. So we didn't smell
It's
anything
not,
until
it's
she
not the
grabbed
fresh blood coming from Malvolio's corpse. The jar smells like blood.
Rosalind, you may need to be. What's in the jar? It does not smell pleasant.
I don't know. I just grabbed it so that it's with the book.
Be careful with it. Is it corked? Is the ink corked?
Yeah.
Is this vial closed?
Mm-hmm.
I think it may be blood.
Oh, that is
Okay,
disgusting.
Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Here, let me. I'll take it.
Oh my god.
Okay.
What kind of berry. It gives human blood to. I go over and I stomp on his
require
corpse.
ritual components.
I totally just stomp on his corpse because I'm so disgusted how awful he is.
York would also be interested in, is there anything that looks like the ink monstrosities may have been summoned or constructed or anything in this room?
I'm gonna say yes. In the very back corner, there are several spilled pots of rotten ink, and that's gonna be the closest thing that you're gonna that might lead you to think that maybe they were. Is that there are spots wherein you smell that rotten ink smell, and there are stains from rotten ink.
Any shredded scripts or
From here, no.
Okay.
You see no shredded script.
Okay.
Let's go. Come on, Kevin Bacon, let's go. What are we standing here for? I'm gonna start making my way towards the door, the door on the platform.
York says, "Wait. Hamlet is coming here. He is the H. Malvolio is his gaming partner. They are doing this together. And now we can stop them both."
Turn around. I come and I squat next to Malvolio, like the body of like his corpse. I'm like, all right, how long are we waiting?
Azimuth, I trust your instincts. Tell me. Your tongue hasn't really been removed, has it?
No, that was a joke that she said. It was funny.
It was a funny joke.
If you guys talked over it, I was going to do a minor illusion and open his mouth so that it looks like it's actually gone.
I'm gonna say, Moth, I'm sorry. He could have had information about your folio, but the one coming will. I know he will.
Okay, dude. I mean, I'm here for the ride, so I will be here if you guys need me. I don't know this Hamlet. He mentioned a Thane. I don't know where you get Hamlet from, because we didn't see the picture. So he was mentioning a man named Thane. I don't know, but if you say that Hamlet is with this Thane, then I am here for you.
So I did see that. The paper, it did say Thane. He was a special guest arriving, but it was Hamlet's picture.
Well, Malvolio said that they could have looked alike, and then of course he made some kind of racist statements about how everybody from Denmark looks the same, and
Yeah, it was really messed up, wasn't it?
it really was. He was a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, all humans look the same, so you know.
Oh, too far, Moth.
I don't know if we can use this folio to correct what was changed.
I don't think we have any business writing anything in this folio.
I don't think that falls to my station.
I think if we're gonna do anything, and if we're gonna wait for Hamlet to get up here, also, isn't he dead?
Thane, Hamlet, whoever it is, it's Malvolio's partner. It's Malvolio's partner. It's the one that conspired to send the people to your mother.
Is there, when we looked around this, do we see anything that looks like it could lead to a dungeon or something? Because there is still a missing Duke. Because we're talking about undoing the wrongs, but if we can find the people and set pieces right without writing it down.
So we're in an invisible tower.
Yes.
Can we see like the courtyards and
Yes,
stuff
you can.
below? So what's going on with the mobs? What's happening down there?
So in the room that you're in right now, you look down and you just see a stone floor. But when you step out into that invisible hallway, that is whenever you see the people beginning to sort of they've come together, and when you look down, you are high up enough that you can see that there are lights, there are people running, parts of the garden are on fire. And you turn and you look off into the distance, and you see at the ocean port a large, dark ship. And from the top of its sails flies the flag of Denmark.
Is it in port already?
It's in port.
Okay.
And you from this distance now you can see that picture that's via some means of ocean travel through the backstage. A Denmark retinue has come, and it is not a like catamaran. It is not a small schooner. It is a warship that has decided that Hamlet has, or Thane, or whoever has brought to Illyria.
Thanelet.
And from this vantage point, roll perception standing out on this hallway.
14.
7.
13.
13.
Dang, these rolls, man.
On the 14, looking down, it's all so chaotic at this point, and you're having a really hard time being able to see and discern what is going on down there. And frankly, without you being there, you wouldn't be able to tell. You can't tell people apart.
But there's still a commotion.
There's still a commotion.
Yeah.
There's still
Yeah.
something going on down there.
Yeah.
Y'all, we haven't even thought about if Olivia's okay.
She's the one in charge now. Perhaps we should go find her. Moth, we can look for the dungeon if you feel it's necessary, but I say leave it to the people to find the rulers they want to find. They're doing their job, and the shadow players of this town are now acting as shadow players. That will continue to play out. We're on a higher mission.
That feels so sad, though.
I could send hoppers to go look.
Ooh, let's do that. I think Olivia deserves that.
That's fine. Do we need to find her now?
I think we do. I think she's the one that made it so that I could get an audience with him.
I'm going to turn and look back from the sky bridge to the tower and just close the dead body in that door.
Yeah.
No one will ever find her. Put my hood up and...
That's so dark. As we come back in to the room, I want to put the red, blue, yellow, red, like put all the books back so that the wall closes completely so that nobody knows it's even a thing.
Yeah. You make yourselves back into the library, and upon exiting the room, you see Olivia standing there with a pitchfork and torch in hand. And she's just like,
My girl.
please tell me you have good news.
I do. Do you remember what it's like to be single?
Yes?
You are again, baby.
And she's just big sigh of relief.
You're
let-
just straight up cut his throat.
I'm going to turn and let her see my face. I am York of the Shadow Players. Your oppressor is deceased, and we are ready to prepare for battle.
He does that all the time. I know. You get used to it. Also, Kevin Bacon really does talk. His name is really Moth. You know that.
I am Moth.
She's gonna just sit down.
Do you know, not to overload you, but if someone were to keep a secret prisoner in this estate, where would they do it?
She's gonna just sort of mull over for that. Well, there were two places that he never allowed me to go, and that he would say that he was going to whenever he needed time alone. One was here, and the other one was the guest room bathroom in the West Wing.
I pull out hoppers out the backpack. All right, hoppers. I take a knee. You're going to go to the. Can you draw a little? It's here. You know, I work with her.
And she's just like, and she sort of talks to the little frog, and she's just like, you're going to go down this hallway, and then you're going to make a right, and then the third door on the left. Yeah, it's going to be the bathroom. Yeah, I know.
It's a weird place to store somebody.
And I suppose look for something. I don't know.
Odd hoppers, do you understand? You need to do that. Here, take Snail. He will understand what Snail means. And come back and find us as soon as you can. If bad thing happens, we need you with us. You are the savior of everything. He just looks all proud.
Good job, Hoppers.
As you,
Chin scratchy.
he takes his chin scratches and starts to run off. What do you guys do?
It's like, do you know about the guest that Ovolio had coming?
I didn't know he was coming.
There's a ship from Denmark in the port. They were conspiring. They've done this together. In fact, it may be more him than Malvolio.
That stands to reason. Malvolio was never that bright.
No, he really wasn't. Oh my gosh.
He was straight stupid.
He really was. I wasn't even trying hard, and he just bought everything I said.
Olivia, if you called to the guards, would they listen to you?
Yes.
Have them take off their pink robes.
Oh, for the love of God, please.
Oh, I did that as soon as
They're just
the-
all butt
as soon
naked.
as the
Good
riot broke out.
woman.
So they're willing to stand with the people of the city?
Yes.
They may have to. I don't know what to expect.
I'm not the smartest bulb in the box, but I'd have to say it looks like we're going to have ourselves a nice old war happening.
I really hope not. I'm pretty sure Denmark would win.
Well,
It's time to have ourselves a merry little Christmas. He says that thinking he sounds so cool.
Olivia, there is the power to change this reality. And the Thane has that. Malvolio had that. We've taken it from Malvolio. I can't go into too much detail after that because once again, I don't want this to go to the wrong hands, and I definitely don't want you caught up in this. But there is a way to make this work. But this is going to have to be an all hands on deck situation. So,
She agrees. She's okay.
I'm going to share with her that there's a possibility there could be unnatural enemy combatants.
Yeah.
Instruct anyone you can to pass the word to not touch the material they're made of.
please don't. I think there's a part of my life I can't remember because I touched it. It's bad.
Okay.
Who are your most physically fit people you have in the town that could go to war?
We need to go to the guardhouse.
Let's
And-
go.
And she walks and she begins to walk downstairs and is opening a door. And then whenever you step through, it's no longer dusk, it's dawn. And you are no longer standing in the manor. You are now standing once again outside of the library. And Olivia is standing there with a torch and a pitchfork in hand. It says, "So, what's going on?"
Someone's written in the book. Olivia, here's a short answer. There are folios in which reality is written and can be rewritten by whomever is writing in them.
As you say that sentence, you are standing in the library about to open the door.
Hamlet has the book.
Of all of us?
All three of you. As you're standing there, the door opens and Olivia is standing there with a pitchfork and a torch in hand. Says, "Oh, thank God you're alive. What happened?"
Where's Bill Murray?
He's got the book, and he's rewritten it. He can't rewrite Malvolio alive, right? Not if you've taken his shadow?
No. I don't know.
Moth, hand me the book.
Take it out.
I take the book, and I sit down, and I open up a page.
When you open the book, the three of you are now in a drawing room. It's quiet and studious and looks very similar to the monk-like habitation that the book was in. And sitting in a chair, about 2 arms away, reading a very similar-looking book, you see a blonde, blue-eyed, probably around 35-ish-year-old man, sort of sitting there reading. And he looks at the three of you and says, "There, finally, they read the book. Hello, York. It's been a really long time."
I thought you were dead!
And that's where we're going to end the session.
Nice. Nice.
Bum, bum, bum.
Ah, what to do.
Good evening.
Good evening, friends.
Okay, and with that, that's going to be the end of our session.
Absorbing shadows?
Yeah, that's a cool thing. I didn't know you
Hey,
could do
man.
that.
Dang.
You thought you knew bards.
Right?
So, yeah, see us next time for the last session
In person.
in person
Yeah.
on July 8th. Not 2 weeks from now, but 3 weeks from now, during our Shakespeare Rende. We'll be doing this live. It's going to be really fun. Until then, I'm Jacob. I work here at the Dallas Public Library. All of the equipment and all of the books I've used to plan this adventure are available here at the Dallas Public Library for checkout and use. To use the Story Center, all you need is a library card. And to do a quick 30-minute training, it's super easy. You could do this kind of thing too. It helps if you have fantastic players like I do, such
thank
as
you.
David Sanders.
and
Becky McDonald?
The weak link, Alex Bearbard.
Not even! Not
not
even!
even.
Hopper's is gonna come through. I can feel
Hopper's,
it.
well, he got rewritten though, or did he? Is Hopper's more powerful than the rewriting?
I don't know.
Does
Oh.
Hoppers,
Hoppers-
does Hoppers count as being in possession of the book since the book is collectively in possession of the party? Like, how does that work?
Well, Hoppers is the leader of the party, so,
Yeah, I don't know.
man.
Is it only what we say get rid of the book? I was thinking, Moth didn't say anything. Maybe nothing's been rewritten. about
Oh, Lord.
it. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know.
but yes, come to the library. It's cool.
Yes.
It's a great library.
It's gonna be a great time.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Very excited. So until then, this has been Sages and Satyrs, and we will see you all very soon. Bye.
Bye.
I-